All right, welcome to another edition of One Mic here on RSG. Please go check us out at realsportsguys.com, Real Sports Guys on all platforms. I'm here with my guys. Y'all might have heard some noise before we getting in. It was somebody was wrestling some goats before we got on, but we ready to go now anyway. I got my guys here. We got a lot to talk about. Let me
You
bring my
never know
man
what you
in.
get in Wisconsin.
We say?
I said you never know what you get in Wisconsin.
I thought it was it was something happening over there. It may have been Hammer, like he might be over in Milwaukee or something. I don't know what's going on. What's up,
Going to
Hammer?
Milwaukee
How you
tomorrow,
doing,
but
man?
yeah,
Uh,
I'm doing well. I'm going to Milwaukee tomorrow, so
okay.
hang out my crew. We're gonna watch history or maybe infamy, but I hope it's history. So with brother Caleb Williams, but yeah, going to Potawatomi. I don't gamble, so tell the people that. But no, it's great, and yeah, great to chat over y'all and look forward to this show. So.
Well, we'll definitely be talking about the draft, and definitely the Bears will probably come up in our conversation. Darnell, you right there? You up there in Ypsilanti, not too far. You probably hearing the rumblings from that far. Detroit is everybody say everybody's headed towards Detroit. Must be going. Traffic must be crazy. How you doing over there?
I'm doing well as always, man. Just can't wait to get this semester over with. But yeah, other than that, I'm doing great.
I'm feeling you. That's why we jump this real sports guy. We juggling all kinds of stuff in school, working, traveling. We doing it all. So we both myself and Darnell are trying to work our way through the semester, trying to get some of these major things done, and we'll get there. But right now, like I used to tell my players, you can't do nothing about that now. We're gonna stay focused between the lines. We in practice, ain't nothing you can do about it. Put your phones away. You can't call your girlfriend, can't call people. It's we here, focus on what we got going on right now. So we're gonna do this. We gonna get it started. And with our segment, we're gonna get into the news. A lot going on. It's NBA playoffs. We have a chance, but I mean, I think Monday night might have been one of the best nights of playoff basketball when you look at what happened at the end of the Knicks 76ers game and then how the Nuggets and Lakers game went out. Playoffs has just been interesting. You know, uh, uh, you, Carl, I know you're heading over to Milwaukee, but yeah, there's not a lot going on over there. But the playoffs, I mean, the end of those games on Monday night, where that Knicks is obviously there's some issues with fouls and stuff like, but just the theater of both those games. I was up here yelling. How did you feel about watching those games Monday night?
It was exciting, man.
Yeah,
Like I said, couldn't believe what happened with Philly, but yeah, it just is what it is. Bottom line is, yeah, the people came back and did their thing, and also with Lakers blew it as well. So it just, it's theater right now. I mean, first round is still theater. It's unbelievable how the NBA has done it. Well, they expanded these series to 7 games and really kept made it for the fans, the best thing for the fans. And so, yeah, it's just every possession is and they're playing defense now. It is great. They don't play defense the regular season, but they play defense now, and that's what makes it just more exciting. So.
yeah. I mean, Darnell, when you look at Monday night, particularly. I mean, Mackey's got the flu game going. He's trying to put the heart there. That kid's got heart. Um, you got New York battling, big shots going down. You got Brunson struggling. Uh, you got all kinds of stuff happening, missed shots, then a made shot. And then, you got struggling on the other end over there in Denver as well, going down the stretch. Murray struggling all game and then puts it together in the fourth quarter. What's it been like to watch these opening rounds of the playoffs?
Man, the opening rounds of the playoffs been great. Like Carl said, it's great to see the intensity start to ratchet up because in the regular season, it's a laissez-faire affair, hands off.
Yeah.
But now we get to playoff, we get some intensity. They get playing with some physicality. You're seeing some great matchups, and then we haven't brought up yet the Ant Man. I love to watch the coming out party of the Ant Man, Anthony Edwards. Everybody joked him. Everybody was making jokes about him when he made that quote last year when he said, "Hey, they got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels." Everybody laughed at him, but hey, Jaden McDaniels has been showing up and showing out, playing deep, playing some defense. Like I know Carl would like Carl would love and appreciate. But yeah, there's a lot of great ball going on. Jokic, and Denver. That's a team that you can never count out. The Lakers have played two excellent. I'll say they've played two excellent games of 3 quarters, right? They just haven't been able to finish, but it's hard to, like this old saying says, it's hard to keep a good man down. And it's hard to keep Denver down because especially when they're motivated and when they get that momentum going, it's hard to hold them back. And they know how to win. And it's tough to go against a team that's well coached like they are under Mike Malone, and they know how to win. And we saw a little bit of that today with
Hmm.
Miami, like
Yes, sir.
Jimmy
Second row Joe
Butler.
came back.
Yeah,
Second row Joe came back.
Jimmy Butler, he's not playing, but it's tough when you got a team that's well coached and they know how to win. If you keep it close, Miami, they might be out talented, but if it's a close game, they know how to execute and close games. So those are just a couple of takeaways that I had. I know there's a lot more. I could probably say a little bit for every series, but I don't want to monopolize the mic.
Yeah, I mean, part of what you hit is like what I watch these rounds and start to say, okay, what are some of the emerging storylines? And you hit it with, um, people better be scared of Ant, and this is why I think they need to be scared. And this is where you see real growth when you can see. And this is crazy because I watched him at the Mile Invitational when he was playing at Georgia with a whole bunch of young cats. They looked like an AAU squad. Uh, they were just trying to figure it out, and you could see he had some. I remember talking to Darnell. I was like, I'm trying to, and I got family in Georgia, people who watched him play. Knowing I was like, what's the hype about this kid? Then I saw a glimpse of him. He went off against Michigan State, but I was like, okay, he got some. Tom Crean is talking. So then he goes to pros. I said, okay, I'm starting to see a little bit of something. And then we saw him in the World Championship game. But this is where you got to get scared about him. Last night, he controlled the game without scoring.
Hmm.
He had an impact on the game, and he
Hmm.
wasn't even scoring. And
Hmm.
usually a young player can't have impact if he not eating. You could see the maturity and the patience and the way that he allowed everybody else to flow and him to create offense for people. And the thing about that team, and y'all might appreciate it, that team reminds me on defense like the Chauncey Billups Pistons in a sense that they got depth, they got bigs who can play, they got this collectiveness. Anybody can stand up a little bit, but they defend. Like there's a commitment to defense that's in the DNA and it's driven by the star player. Like it might be part of their philosophy, but you can tell Ant is the one. One of the things he said in his interview, he said a superstar, and this is where I know my man Hamp is going to appreciate it. He said, "What's the difference between a star and a superstar?" He
Yeah,
said a
on both
superstar can
ends.
affect it on both ends of the court. I
Yeah,
said, boy,
both
Hampton
ends of
must
the
be
court.
watching. Hampton
Yeah,
must
yeah.
Hampton must
Yeah.
Hampton must be
Ham was
watching.
watching. Ham was
Hampton,
clapping, man. Like I
Hampton
said,
must
Ham was
be
clapping.
watching and clapping.
I'm clapping. I'm clapping. I'm clapping.
And
Uh,
Edwards is an excellent defender when he really wants to sit down and get in the
yes.
chair. He can defend on the same level with Jada McDaniels and probably a little bit better because he's
All these
strong.
cats can. If they can score prolifically like they do, they can defend, man. It's no excuse. They just don't want to defend until they have to in the playoffs. You got to.
Right.
Defense wins championships. Remember that. So
Yeah.
that's where again, brother Ant. Yeah, he controlled the game without scoring, and that's a true sense of a superstar and just a player in general, an impact player, and a winner is impacting both sides of the court.
One of the things I watched last night, um, Booker. Booker Booker's being affected in a different way. Like we can there's some other folks on that squad, but the Booker to me is the catalyst, and he just seemed like he was just totally out of it. Gotten fouled, so I think he didn't even foul out or something like that. I mean, he looked like it. I'm Bill. I think Bill's got to do more, but Booker is that catalyst, and he's the one I thought had the dog meter in the past, and his thing. And KD's another story, but I don't know what they're gonna do. When you think about, I don't know where Phoenix is going,
Yeah, Booker
and
did foul out. He did
huh?
foul out. So yeah, so he
What
fouled
you say?
out. Yeah,
He
he
fouled
fouled
out.
out.
But
Yeah.
I mean, what's your thoughts, Ham? I mean, they just look. I don't know where they go as a team. Like I don't know.
There's
It's
no,
almost
there's
like they
no,
boxed in.
there's no dog in them, and they picked the wrong coach too. I mean, I understand Frank Vogel. Everyone talking about he won a championship. He won a championship in the bubble. It's not a real championship. So, and KD's never been able to hold a team on his own and be that alpha dog. And yeah, and so yeah, I just think that they're. I mean, Book just doesn't have a killer instinct in him, and never thought he did. He's a great player, great scorer, but even remember that series against Milwaukee. Just there was no doubt they outpsyched that brother. They made that brother. I mean, Drew Holiday shut that brother down. So I just again Book and KD just not winners, man. As far as my opinion, not winners. And KD, God bless him, he got his rings with GSW, but anytime he's done his own, falling short.
Yeah,
Plain and simple, falling short.
I mean, I think they backed themselves into a corner. I don't know how you feel about this, Darnell. I mean, I just feel
Well,
like.
well,
Go ahead. What you say?
I'll say Phoenix is they're just a poorly constructed roster. They
Yes.
this series is proving how important it is to have a point guard. Like I said it in the group chat yesterday. Point guards exist for a reason, and they need somebody that can get them easy baskets. That can run the show, get them the ball in their spots, and create and extend advantages. And that's something that they really struggle with because they're all if you notice they're always attacking a set defense. And when you have a set defense with Jaden McDaniels, Jaden McDaniels is in Devin Booker's. He's in his jersey the whole game. Like you said, he's struggling. Well, there's a reason for that. Jaden McDaniels, he's long. He's a great defender. He takes pride in it. And in the event that you get past Jaden McDaniels, you got to see Rudy Gobert. And Devin Booker is not necessarily he's not an exceptional athlete. I mean, of course, in the NBA, all NBA players are great athletes compared to the rest of us, but he's not an exceptionally explosive athlete that's gonna blow by somebody and get to the rim and that kind of stuff. He has to, um, create his shots with misdirection and footwork and all that kind of stuff. And it's hard when you're going to get somebody like that with a lot of length and a commitment to being on you all night. So that's where they're struggling at. They really need a point guard, and I think that's their biggest issue.
And it's like you can see it with the difference with Michael Conley with Conley, in a sense that they get into their offense, into their stuff, and there's ball movement, right?
Hmm.
They're getting people ball movement, body movement, but and it's like knowing when to get the person right. When you play against a team with those kind of bigs, you got to get movement so that you got to get them rotated. You got to catch them in the rotation. And with people like KD and folks like that, if you had good action, those guys don't need a lot of room to score. But you gotta have action going and get it. And you just don't. And I think that's where I think where Hammer hits, where that's not necessarily Vogel is a defensive guy, but they haven't given him the tools to be that guy. And then it's almost like he doesn't have like his lieutenant who's the offensive guy. And they don't have a point guard. So they let people who are playing those point roles, and they thought they could get away with Bill and Booker. They don't you need people who can eat and don't necessarily have to have plays run for them. Conley
Mm-hmm.
Jr., he don't have to run anything, but he's scoring, but he knows how. He makes sure everybody else eats, and then he comes gets his when he need it. And that's the part about the point guard play that's important. And I just don't see that with them in a way. And the way you can do that in another action is Joker does that for Denver. Like you gotta have somebody who sets the table. And they just don't have anybody who sets the table, so they end up with a lot of action where there's like isolation, iso ball, clock running down, difficult shots. And because you got KD, Bill, and Booker's like fool's gold, they make enough difficult shots to make you think you're doing something. Don't work against a team like Minnesota. I think you're right with that. The Clippers and the Mavs feel like a Game 7 series.
Mm-hmm.
Darnell, I mean, this one is, man, it's got so many layers to it. It's like, and I said
They
it
got
before,
history.
it's got
Yeah.
history. Um, And it's almost like Kawhi came back and they stopped all the action they had in the first game. They didn't have any movement. They kind of waited for Kawhi to eat. It just looked weird. But this one's going to go 7. It's clearly going to go 7. Luka's in there. How do you feel about that? Where do you see that going? Where do you see what do you see the Clippers needing to do and the Mavs need to do?
Yeah, like you just said, they just need to play their way. They need to play their style of basketball, keep that ball moving. and really make the Mavs defense work when they're playing Kawhi ball and just letting them work at the mid post.
Yeah.
You know, guys are kind of just waiting to see what he's going to do, and I think that can make it a little easier on Dallas to defend because they are a team with specialists. Like they have guys like PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. that are there specifically to play defense, and they make it, and they're a little better at that now than they were in the past. So
Hmm.
I think they can make those adjustments. They just have to integrate Kawhi back into what they do and kind of become more of a well-oiled machine. But yeah, like you said, this is gonna be a really closely contested series. Kyrie and Luca, they bought out in both games.
Mhm.
Um, but hey, it's really going to be a question of the others. Like, how much are the role players going to be able to contribute to that score total? Because if it's like the first game where Luca has 33, Kyrie has 31, and nobody else has more than like five, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing to watch out for is how much can the others of the Mavericks contribute to the offense, and how much movement and how much can the Clippers make the Mavericks work on defense.
And Carl, in Milwaukee is the tale of two halves. Dame is
Yeah,
giving them 29 and 30 something in the first half.
yeah, bro.
Ain't nobody else coming with him in the second half.
Nobody else coming with it. Bobby ain't coming with it. Chris ain't coming with it. Yeah, it's just sad. I mean, yesterday was just lethargic for the Bucks,
Mm.
and really, it looked bleak, man. I mean, Miles is trying to work back. I think he might be able to come back for the series, but there's no dog. I mean, like I said, Dame gave his heart. His first half blew him out basically. Second half, hell water. But yes, this last game, just I think Doctor's out coach. I mean, Doc just is looking bad right now. I mean, Adrian Griffin makes him look is looking better every day. They should have fired that brother. But yeah, I hope Giannis comes back. And the one thing about it is great. I mean, they have a break until Sunday, so it's
Hmm.
crazy. So yeah, that's the one thing that they can regroup. But yeah, this gonna be a tale for them if they don't regroup in this time off. They're in serious trouble. They need to regroup. They need to win that game three if they're gonna have a chance. They lose that game three in Indianapolis, it's gonna be trouble, man.
And then you got the Cavaliers and Orlando, kind of like these two teams trying to find their direction. Darnell. I mean, these are two teams that this is kind of a pivotal.
Real hoops, no,
You know what I'm
it's a,
saying?
it's a, it's a late
Yeah,
'90s. This is a late
it's a
'90s
pivotal time
series.
in trying to figure out where they're gonna go. Right? It's like you know they they got a trajectory they're on, and this is opportunities to figure out who's gonna be bursting to that next level, and who's gonna be a little delayed in their growth. Right? Because they got these young cores on both these squads. How do you see this thing playing out?
I see this being over quickly, getting over
Mm.
with quickly, especially because Jalen Suggs went down.
Yeah,
The
that was
the
hurting.
Magic the Magic are having a lot of trouble with their outside shooting, and that's hurting the spacing, and especially with a team that is as good on the defensive end as the Cavs are. When you are knocking down those 3-point shots, it makes things a lot harder, and we've seen that through the first two games, and I don't see it really fixing itself anytime soon. So I'd say this is probably going like five.
Mm. Well, it's going to be interesting in this Knicks Sixers thing. Nick Nurse. We were saying, they can't blame Doc, but I know he's dealing with an injured MB, but so was Doc.
Yeah.
Nick Nurse out there, messed up the end of the game. Talking about times out, he got to pull his Spoelstra. Spoelstra be up. Spoelstra like he about to jump the ball when he call a timeout. Make sure they know they see it. There's a lot going on down the stretch. Hammer, what do you do with this? Do you some days I'm like, they said that Embiid's injury isn't going to get worse. He just got to get used to the pain. That's what I was
She
hearing.
he do
Um,
not need to be out there.
Yeah, I told y'all last week. Just as fools go, I don't know why they playing them. They're not winning no chip this year. Well, let's call it. And then the main thing with Tobias Harris is the invisible man. That brother's stealing money, and so I don't understand. Embiid's a phenomenal player, but he has problems with injury. shut him down. Let him rehab. Especially you don't try to go play in Paris this summer. I mean, come on. I mean, it makes no sense what they're trying to do. They're trying to chase the inevitable, which is they're going to lose a playoff series. It's simple. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
so
I'm not sure if they're going to see him in Paris. I
sit the
mean, I
man
think,
back for
yeah,
for another year.
yeah. I got a
Him or
feeling that the
Kawhi.
Sixers are going to try and put, yeah, they're going to try and shut both those guys down, especially if they don't make it through the playoffs. Uh, but they got to have Brunson come together. I mean, right now Brunson's struggling, and he can't take that on the road. They're going to need a Brunson who can play a little bit
He'll come back. He'll come
on the
back.
road. He going to do something. But yeah, I mean, those are games they had, and they just couldn't get it down the stretch. It's going to be interesting to
You know,
see what happens going with the Philly. You know, they just got a whole serve, but you're right. I mean, this is and he giving them buckets on a bad leg. I'm just like,
oh, he can ball, but again, he's gonna be where he can't get up after he falls. That's
yeah,
gonna be the problem.
He
He can
can't
help
even
him
he
out.
can't even dunk. He's 7 feet tall. Can't even dunk yet.
He shouldn't be
He
playing.
went up for a dunk, and I thought he got shot.
Yeah, yeah. He got shot. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
ah. All right, let's get to the main course of this dang thing, y'all. Because Darnell and I definitely got to do some homework. We go figure this out. But we got some NFL draft. This it's in Detroit. You know, Motor City, Midwest. Welcome, welcome. You know, on behalf we got our man Darnell. You know, he's the ambassador for RSG over there down there in southeast of Michigan. You know, make sure you get down to 3-on-3 Darnell. Welcome the people to Michigan. Lot going on, man. Let's start with a general question for both of y'all, and then I'll jump in here. What are the storylines with this draft? You know, normally we would go through the draft and we could mock it. Nah, we ain't gonna do that. We gonna like, what are the storylines? What are the things that, like, as you start looking at this draft, that you are really beginning to think about this draft as it's beginning to emerge and about to start? Let me start with you, Carl.
Well, I mean, you where I'm from, it's going to be Caleb Williams, but in the bigger picture, though, it's about the quarterbacks.
Hmm.
It's going to be where quarterbacks go. Are people going to trade up? Quarterbacks are really going to determine this draft, determine where Marvin Harrison goes, where Joe Alt goes, J.C. Latham goes. Yeah, so I think the main where the tackles go. So quarterbacks are going to run this draft. We're going to see what happens. There are a lot of rumors about J.J. McCarthy might go too. I don't believe that, but yeah. So this just we're gonna see the great thing about draft day. We're gonna see how the boards shape up eventually. There's a lot of talk and a lot of smack and a lot of people thinking about what people are going to do. But we're gonna see now, especially 10 minutes in between picks. We're gonna definitely see maneuvering and just craze galore, and it's gonna be an exciting draft. It's made for TV for a reason. But the main thing is these quarterbacks are going to really dictate. And again, it's interesting that Bo Nix and Mike Paul Jr. were not invited to the draft. So that's, I mean, you still see them in mocks, but I don't know. Something tells me they might not go first round. A lot of people disagree with that, but so these quarterbacks will be interesting. And always there's a surprise pick. There might be a surprise pick quarterback. A quarterback that gets in there, you might not think that's going to get in there, that someone's got a high grade on. So it's a great time. And, I'm getting excited. Obviously, we get excited about Caleb Williams. And hoping and praying. And yeah, so, but that's where I would say the quarterback is really the year of the quarterback. It's always, but definitely this year is going to dictate everything from where Marvin Harrison's going to go, Junior, where Malik Neighbors is going to go, Dunze. Yeah, so you got really a situation where, and we'll see if they trade up for some non-quarterbacks. It's going to be interesting too. That's going to switch the draft up. So yeah, kind of like they did last year with, can't believe it's been a year with Will, like it seemed like yesterday with Will Anderson, they traded up, traded with CJ Stroud. Just yeah, Houston really made a splash and made the playoffs that way. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, Darnell. Just general storylines.
So the biggest storyline I'm looking forward to is how Jim Harbaugh is going to build this Chargers roster. Who he's going to pick to fill out his scheme, and what type of moves they're going to make. The second storyline I'm looking at is like Carl just mentioned, the Houston Texans. What kind of weapons are they going to try to get CJ? How they're going to look to advance this roster. That's another thing I'm looking at. And then the third thing is just the draft day surprises. I want to see all the the picks that are going to happen that are inevitably going to happen that nobody expected. They're going to say, "What? How he went eight? Yeah, it's going to happen." Some people like Carl said, this guy he wasn't even invited to the draft, but hey, he might go 11. I can't wait for that thing to happen, or the surprise draft day trades.
Yeah, and it's crazy because so much has shifted coming out of the pandemic and the way they had to do the draft during the pandemic. I was talking to somebody who's actually going to be at the draft, and he said that there are probably the fewest people who've been invited who are actually going to show up. So many of these folks are having their own parties in their own places. I think it might be less than like 20, like 13 of them, like who are actually going to be there. The number
Mhm.
is small. So that's going to be interesting to see how that environment, but that's still going to be a crazy environment anyway. And part of it is like the coming on the stage and shaking, like the biggest moment for like, is coming on and shaking Roger's hand. Like that's the moment, right? The way they hug and to, to have fewer of them present around that is going to be interesting. Y'all got some really good stuff. I think is all going to be really a part of the storyline. I'm also looking at a team like the Vikings, and this goes back to what Carl was talking about in the quarterback play. You know, they got to figure out how to fill that spot. And I know JJ McCarthy has been something they might have been looking at. However they do that, it feels like they got to do something. They got all the other pieces that they put together. They got the running back. They got the receiver. In do they have what they need in the quarterback room? Most would say, I don't know if I'm going in what they got in the quarterback room. The other thing is, for the first time in what, I don't know how many years, 30 years or whatever it is, the Patriots are going to be entering the draft without Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're going to be coming in with, Elliot Wolf, who's son of Ron Wolf, who, many of us know, he's a legend in terms of drafting. Gerard Mayo is going to be in there. So, like, what's going to be their philosophy? They got the 3rd, 34th, and the 68th pick. Wolf has said, how did he define it? He said, we're a draft and develop team. I'm trying to figure out what that means. Like, this is the first
That
time they
means they
said
get fired. That's what that means. That means
yeah,
they get
they,
fired.
they said Mac. They said Mac
That's
Jones.
what that means.
Yeah, you
That
know what
means
I'm
you get
saying.
fired. Yeah.
They said
That's what
Mac
that means.
Jones.
That make no sense. That means you'll get fired. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they sent Mac Jones to Jacksonville. To clear stuff out. They picked up Jacoby Brissett. But like, what's going to be the philosophy? They're in a position to get a franchise quarterback, but that's never really been their thing, right? And so how much of that's going to be really interesting to see how these philosophies emerge. And then my other thing is, I've always said this, and I think Darnell probably put the surprise thing in there. Is like, who's going to outthink the room? Sometimes these teams just outthink the room. It's like overanalyze, and you like looking at it. It's like it is what the tape said it was, right? And then they realize I should have made that pick. And so, who's going to outthink the room is going to be really interesting because this is going to be about who's organized, who's thinking, who's putting it all together. So I'm really interested in doing that. One of the things that we do in our work is after draft, because we all connected with education, we do our grading. But unlike other people do, some people make dean's lists, some people make academic probation, some people just make middle of the road. They don't get they get good academic standing. Before we look at this, who do y'all think might end up when we start to do our reflection? Who do you think might end up on academic probation? Based on you just believe they just not going to do anything with this draft. Let me start with you, Carl, because you already got to look like you might.
yeah, I think you. I think you know. There's no secret. I hate to say this podcast, but I have to say it. I am not a big Ryan Poles fan. I was very disappointed in last year's draft with brother Darnell Wright, but he was decent last year. wasn't great. Thought she got an edge rusher, and really, I questioned a lot of the moves he's made, Claypool, and yeah, I really, he's on the clock for me. They're all excited about this new stadium in Chicago, but no, he had a good draft. The picks that, from second to whatever, but Darnell Wright pick just did not underwhelm me. And some of his free agent signings, we all his cap room and we sign in, uh, you know, practice squad cats. Trading fifth round picks for cats who couldn't even start for Buffalo last year. So again, he's on the clock for me. I hope, we're praying for Caleb Williams, but like listen to all these shows like I've done all week. Let's keep it real. Most likely, if you had to bet if Caleb Williams is gonna be a bust, he's gonna be a bust. Let's keep it real. Most of these guys are gonna be. It's an exciting draft, but most of these guys are gonna be failures. That's simple. That's why we have drafts because they keep on drafting. And as you talked about D Wills, we talked about There's talent development, yeah, but you got to be able to develop that talent quickly, and that's where again, I just question. Like I said, this ninth pick, I'm hearing a lot of things about. I think we should get edge rusher myself. They talking about another receiver. Come on, we don't need another receiver. So and like I said, we got in the Bears, we got what? We got 5 picks. Come on now. We ain't got no picks. So I mean, I hope they trade the ninth pick for some draft capital, but I'm shaking the head like, how are we gonna make impact in this draft? Because we trading away picks for Keenan Allen and Ryan Bates.
Wrong.
Yep.
All right, yeah. Like as I was saying, like the team that I would pick for academic probation would be Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. Um, they are in an interesting position. They just traded away. They just got rid of Russell Wilson. They just got rid of Jerry Judy, and now it looks like on the offensive end, the cupboard is bare. But they do have some picks. It's gonna be interesting to see how they pivot. But at this point, I don't trust their judgment. At this point, they did just pick up Zach Wilson, so maybe so maybe Sean Payton has some other ideas. Maybe he thinks he might be the quarterback whisperer and might be able to turn Zach Wilson into the quarterback that we expected him to be. And hey, he might be right, he might be wrong, but um, we'll just have to see how this all plays out. But my academic probation team is Denver. I know you said you probably picked them too, so I want to see what you got to say about that.
No, I mean you hit it out. I mean they have limited draft capital to send everybody away. They're projecting that they're gonna draft Spencer Rattler in terms of it. And so I mean you got Zach
Are they
Wilson.
are they
You
a
got
trade up candidate? They're at
yeah,
12.
I think and so this is it just seems like he going to one of the things that Perk said about he said what did he say about our brother over there in Clipperland? He said Ty Lue can make turn water into wine. I'm not sure if Peyton can do that. And in the division that he's in. So I think you nailed it. My other team that's just like that is Dallas Cowboys,
Oh
who
yeah,
said they're all in, and they've done nothing but that show you that they're all in. In fact, Jerry Jones came in and said Dak is going to have less. He's going to have to work with less, and they're hoping that they got to nail everything in this draft for it to work because their ability to try and do something, and it starts up front. So they're hoping to get. It looks like they're projecting a hope that the Cowboys might get guidance from Oklahoma
yeah,
to try
Oklahoma.
to secure the offensive line and keep um, uh,
Tyler
Tyler
Smith.
Smith at guard, but they got so
Mm-hmm.
many pieces. So they got to rely on this draft to kind of fix up the middle. The one thing that could turn around if they're able to do that, it looked like they might be projected to get Peyton Wilson, who we talked about from NC
Boy,
State at linebacker
boy,
at
boy.
56. So if they have some things fall, they could go from academic probation to not. But they got to have a lot of things fall their way, and they've
I'm
drafted
not too
okay, huh?
I'm not too sure Peyton Wilson falls to 56,
That's what I'm
and
Yeah,
saying. You
and
got,
at the same
they're gonna trade up for him.
yeah,
at the same time, I kind of like the way the Dallas Cowboys draft. I think they draft well,
yeah,
so we just got to see how
yeah,
The
how they
problem with
do.
yeah.
them is coaching. They ain't drafting. The problem
Yeah,
with them is
you got Junior Colston from Michigan, but he might be a little high. There's some linebackers in that space, but you're right. Some of those cats might not fall. They need to get stronger up the middle, and there's some D linemen. So you know they got too many things. They just haven't done anything to tell you that they all in. So that's the one that I think is one that I think is there. So I had both Dallas and Denver because they put themselves in these positions, and you haven't seen them do anything right? They've decided and they still haven't given you anything, and now they got to figure out how to do this in the draft. And now there are too many other ways they can fix this, between now and in the beginning of the season. There's a couple other options, but I just don't see them making the moves. Who do you think might surprise you and end up on the dean's list? I'll start with you, Darnell.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Who might surprise me?
End up on the dean's list. Let me go first. My team is actually Hammer's team. Chicago. I got a couple teams, but Chicago, and part of this for different reasons. So I think obviously get Caleb. They might get his teammate because you said a receiver.
Mhm.
At the ninth pick or whatever.
No,
Um,
they talking about he's talking to
Ro-
Roma Dunze. He's trying. That's not
Medusa,
his teammate, but he's they doing some politicking.
politicking. So in that, so you might give him a receiver right there, which gives him something.
Mhm.
Plus, so offensively they're gonna give him the tools. And it looked like they might get Braswell, who they need an edge rusher. That they could get later, so they could add that in terms of that. So I think they got some pieces. I think by the time they get to the 75th pick, you might see if they're doing something or not. So I feel like if they get those pieces right with what they did in the offseason, he might have some. Now I'm with you. I don't trust polls, but I think if they get the right couple pieces in these first couple these picks they have, they got 3 picks. They get them 3 picks right, fill some gaps. I think they might. I think they might surprise you there. Even though I'm not a big polls fan. The other team,
Yeah,
go ahead.
no, you could go with your other team, but
Uh,
I got my team now. Just letting you know,
Yeah,
I
my team
found
okay,
it.
too. Yeah, go ahead.
you got yours. Well, go. I'll let y'all go, and then I might
So
add a
yeah,
couple more in there.
yeah, my
Go
my
ahead, man.
Dean's List
Go
team is
ahead,
gonna be
man.
the Arizona Cardinals.
You took
I
my
Oh
think
team,
my
man.
goodness.
I think the
You took my
Arizona
team.
the Arizona Cardinals they about to like they said we back up. Send the message out there. We back up. I think they got a chance of coming out of here with Marvin Harrison. They got the first they got the fourth pick in the draft. They also have a couple picks right around the end of the first. There's one at the end of the first, and then another one at the beginning of the second. They can really go back to back with some really good picks there. A lot of their needs are or at positions that are pretty well stocked in this draft. Like they need receivers, they need some playmakers. Well, they got that in this draft. They need interior offensive linemen. They got some guards and centers in this draft. And so if you need a guard, this is a good year to look for a guard. So I think the positions that they need, the holes that they have, are going to be easily filled in this draft, and they have a lot of picks on the early side of the draft where they can really make a big swing if they play their cards right.
Yeah, I'm looking at like the Atlantic has done some team by team stuff, and they have like obviously Marvin for that fifth pick, but then Cooper DeJean, right? Did I get it right?
Cooper
Cornerback
DeJean.
from
Gene,
DeJean,
Gene.
DeJean
Yeah, that's how you pronounce
from
it. Yeah. Not
Iowa.
to correct you,
Uh,
but I heard
Yeah,
it
he
pronounced
said.
it.
Yeah,
Correct me if you want to. I
he
don't
said
know.
he said he could beat Caitlin Clark 1-on-1. I want to see that happen.
Yeah,
I don't see that game happen. That's a tough matchup.
and then they think they have potential of getting Chop Robinson at 27. If those three right there would put you in it, and then the D line from Oregon, and then the offensive tackle guard from Kansas.
Which D lineman from Oregon? Brandon Dorless.
Yep, Brandon,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then Dominic Pooney, or is that
Uh,
from Kansas? Was it?
I don't know who you talking about.
Yeah, they look like a group. There's a guard, then the Marshawn Lloyd. So looking at their, and they talk about maybe getting Tommy Eichenberg, your Ohio State guy, in the fifth round.
Mm,
So if this thing
okay.
comes the way they say it, that would be an interesting draft for them. If they get the top 3 picks, they would be in the dean's list. If they get these top 3 picks falling the way it
They
should.
have 6 picks in the top 100. Let's
Yeah,
just say that.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
they have some bullets in the chamber.
yeah. And if
They
they
better
don't get
hit
it
too.
right, they
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 gonna hit.
definitely
They
gonna be
better
on
hit.
probation.
Yeah, they better hit. Yeah.
They gonna
They
hit.
don't hit, they're gonna be on probation. Okay. Who you got? Who you got, Hammer?
No, same Arizona. I like Maya Ossiford. I like his style. He comes from winning programs, and I think winning Patriots. And yeah, I just believe in him. I think he's a. I think
The
Marvin Harrison
Patriots
Jr.
never
is second.
drafted
I was
well.
gonna
How,
say, is that a
how,
good
how,
thing?
the Patriots never drafted well. I'm like, I don't understand. You can't put drafting and the Patriots in the same thing.
No, they
I mean,
drafted early.
Patriots wasn't a
In
great
In
drafting
Bill's
team.
tenure, they drafted well early. They haven't drafted well. I mean, it's all what you've done for me lately. And
Whoever you
sadly,
talking
well,
about came from this
let me put it.
last partnership, right?
Sadly, Belichick's legacy has been tarnished because of these really bad draft picks he had before he got fired. So, but no, you can't say he drafted very well in the beginning of his regime. At the end of his regime, it was a debacle, as I like to say, because he had some picks that just made no sense, and cats who were overdrafted, and like your famous saying, he was out thinking the room too much, too much out thinking the room, and the boy, where he's not in the room anymore. He got fired. So yeah, so that's what happened. You outthink the room, you're gonna be outside the room eventually. Am I lying?
You're
If you
right,
outthink the
man.
room, you'll be outside the room. Yeah.
You're right.
You need to
You,
think like you need to, not outthink the room. Yeah. So, but no, I can't. People like Gerard Mayo, who's a coach now. I mean, he has some really good draft picks. Obviously, very yeah. So, but lately, yeah, it's been terrible, man. And that's why he got fired. Yeah,
yeah,
awful
I mean
picks.
Arizona. There's a reason why you have to. I mean, looking at the potential that they have with the number of picks they got in the top. I mean, they got some picks here early, so
Yeah,
y'all might be
there's a
right.
reason why they up there, but they did make the trade
They made some good trades too.
with
Yeah,
Houston.
yeah,
Yeah,
and that was a
yeah.
good trade
So
for them for long term. Yeah, so I mean,
Okay.
Kyler Murray, I know they're not excited, but they're gonna roll with Kyler Murray, and
Yeah, I
healthy. He's
would.
healthy now. Yeah, you give him another weapon, get some more. Like I said, there's no excuse. But you're right. If they don't hit on these picks, they are on probation. Bad.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna wrap this thing up with saying we'll sit here. Who who when we're here this time next year, who you think is gonna be out because they did not make the right moves
No,
in this
I sound like a broken record. That's not a broken record, but I think the Bears gonna have a GM change next year. I really do. Stadium change, GM change. I think that Kevin Warren is clearly the top dog. We saw it today with the stadium up there, pounding with the mayor and have a good time with the mayor. So yeah, I don't believe in polls, man. There's a lot of things that I hate the fact what we did, and so I don't trust him with this draft. I really don't. I don't trust Caleb Williams either. I really don't. I think Caleb Williams is emotionally unstable, and Chicago's gonna eat him alive. He ain't never been a place like Chicago, man. It ain't no LA, it ain't no DC. Chicago's a rough city, bro. And I'll tell you right now, ain't nobody jumping up and down about Caleb Williams. You ever said this is gonna be a love-hate relationship with him? The bottom line, I tell people he better be a Hall of Famer. Ain't no. I'm telling the truth.
he
He
better
better
be a
be a
Hall
Hall
of
of
Famer.
Famer. You can let all you want to do, Darnell. You know what I'm talking. He better be a Hall of Famer. And I ain't talking about no All Pro. He better be a Hall of Famer. The type of smack he talks and his arrogance, he better bring it, because if he doesn't, man, they gonna eat you alive, bruh.
Well, I would say this. I think if that happens, it happened because of how they decided to handle the coach position. Either
Yeah,
they should have just took Eberflus, we go give you 2 years, 3 years,
yeah,
and make it work,
yeah,
or they should have fired him
yeah. They
and
should have
just said
got
we're
rid
gonna
of him
clean
last
slate
year.
with the
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
with
yeah,
the coach going up. We're gonna bring a new coach in with our young quarterback keeper. Them
yeah,
not making that decision has created some dynamics
yeah. They're gonna
that's
go with
gonna make that
OC,
difficult. So
and yeah,
it
no, you're right.
it started before the draft because of how they set the situation up for whoever's going to be entered. So that's going to be interesting. Darnell, who you feel like is going to be singing that blues? We gonna be like happy trails to you. Who you think we go? Because somebody gonna mess up over here.
Man, if I had to, I think Carl has a really good pick because this is a pick with a whole lot of bust potential, a whole lot of boom potential too. Caleb Williams, he does have a lot of talent, and there's a possibility that they do turn it around. But man, if Carolina has another, if Carolina has another bad year, yeah, he
Woo-woo.
might be sitting. They might be sitting with us. So
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and these they on the radar, but I think they're not gonna make the right decision on who I think they need to take, and we didn't have them on, probation. Is Salah in your in the GM over at the Jets?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is hanging on Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Theoretically, they need to be picking a quarterback,
True.
and they're not gonna do that. They're gonna
No,
put
because
everything
they're gonna
around
go
Aaron,
bananas. They're gonna go nuts too.
and
Go bananas.
uh, it better work.
It
They
ain't
they
gonna work,
they got
man.
a
It ain't gonna,
grace period. They got a grace period. And they got
it
all
ain't
the
gonna
pieces for it
grace
to work.
period. Ain't no grace period. It's New York, bro. Ain't no grace period in New York. Ain't no grace
But
period in New York.
if Aaron miss any time and they don't make the playoffs or they don't have nothing set up, it's gonna they're gonna be looking here.
Well, Eddie
They
Johnson
sold too much.
called sell out, didn't he? He called sell out, right? I mean, yeah, Sal's dead man walking, bro.
Yeah, I'm and that's what he gonna learn from this experience. I think he has potential to be a great coach, but this he got caught up in the moment and lost control of what he needs to do. And right now, he and the GM, and right
Yeah,
now,
Douglas, he in trouble
yeah,
too. Yeah,
they they need one of these quarterbacks. They need one of these
they ain't
young.
gonna pick one. They ain't
They
gonna
ain't
pick
gonna
one
pick
because
one.
Aaron will go bananas, bro. Aaron go
They
bananas
need one. And
and talk about
they,
he gonna join Robert Kennedy Jr.'s campaign. No,
yeah,
he
all
ain't doing
that stuff. So that's one. That's one. He ain't gonna lose this job, but Sean Payton gonna take a big hit because he got
I don't know
leadership in
about that,
Kansas
bro.
City,
Bro,
and he got
don't say
Harbaugh
that.
over in San
Don't
Diego,
say that, bro. Don't say
and he
that.
got the Raiders.
You dealing with the Waltons, bro. Remember, you dealing with the Waltons.
Yeah, yeah,
I told you,
that's what.
billionaires don't lose, bro.
But I'm gonna tell you right now,
Billionaires ain't used to
he's
losing,
surrounded.
man.
Sean Payton surrounded. He's surrounded. Everywhere he look, he got competition.
Yeah, I know.
And so to be
He should
walking
stay
in
at
there
Fox.
with
He
this,
should stay at Fox. He
he
should stay
should
at
stay
Fox.
at
He's stupid.
Fox
He should stay at
because
Fox.
and I'm telling you right now, let Russell have any kind of success.
Oh,
Let
Russell will have
Russell have
success.
any kind
I
of
believe.
success,
I believe Russell will have success next year. I believe that.
and he gonna do it in a tough division. So let him
Yeah.
have any kind of success, and then you struggling. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be some problems over there. And then I love my man. I love my man. They got to get better at Steeler land too. So I got a lot of love, but
Yeah, he in trouble,
he's going to
man.
we're going to have to start moving in the right direction over there. So I would say that. All right, guys, we gonna get your pen and paper out. We're gonna be grading tomorrow. We're gonna be seeing what's going on. I know our text group is gonna go crazy. Um, Darnell, you probably gonna hear a lot happen down the streets. That stuff might be overflowing into Ypsilanti. So, have a good time. Let's drop the mic here. To give out some flowers. Who want to go first?
I'll go
I,
first and
yeah.
surprise you. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead. You can say you
Go
go
ahead,
first.
Hammer.
Yeah. Well, I'll give my flowers to my man Ryan Garcia.
Yes.
I mean, unbelievable, man. I mean,
Yeah. We can spend
I'm
a little
not the
time on
boxing
that. Yep. Go.
aficionados
Yep.
like y'all, but my understanding, this dude's just a stone cold alcoholic. And he came out and whooped Devin Haney, the great Devin Haney, all y'all been talking about for 3-4 years. And yeah, so these was supposed to lose, and dude came in there, nothing to lose, drank a beer during the time, and yeah, I mean, I give my man credit, man. The guy was the pound for pound, best fighter in the world, got beat, and so my flowers go out to Ryan Garcia, who above all odds, and through all the liquor and beer and being overweight too as well, drinking during the weigh-in and overweight because he couldn't get the title. I give my flowers to Ryan Garcia.
Darnell gonna clean it all up. What you got, Darnell?
Man, I gotta give my flowers out to um Kamal Haddon, man. Um local kid, Ypsilanti kid. He ended up going to high school out at River Rouge. But he's on the board. It's his time. He's probably gonna go day 2 or day 3. But I'm proud of the kid. I used to play basketball with him up at Eastern at the outdoor court. I might have to come through to the draft party that they got. But man, really proud of him. I want to give my flowers out to brother Kamal Haddon
Mm, mm, mm,
out of
mm.
Tennessee.
All right, that's a good one. I have a couple here, but I'll have to go. I don't know if I did it. I might have done her last time. I feel like I got to do it again this time because we just got good news. So, my niece Chanel's come on the platform. We use the music as the opening. And I just have to wish her well, give flowers to just signing with the agency to play in Europe. She had walked away from the game, found her love, got back into it, had a decent combine at the Final Four, and is looking to play in Europe. And is about athletes and their journeys, man. Darnell, you watch a lot of these folks you coaching. Everybody takes these weird paths to wherever they're gonna go, but whenever you have an opportunity to continue to do what you love and earn whatever you can to do it. It's always a great thing when you're young. And so, wanted to give flowers to her, wish her well with that. And then the other thing I gotta give flowers to is the women's basketball. I gotta give it to Caitlin Clark. She got the bag. My
Yes, sir.
goodness, she got the bag. And there could be a lot of layers about why people think she got the bag. At the end of the day, the bag has arrived.
Mhm.
She got the money, and hopefully that spreads into other folks' things. But man, this will be written about for a while. We'll come at it through all kinds of lenses and whatever. But for today, I just got to tell you, you got the bag. I ain't gonna hate anybody who got the bag. So congratulations on getting that bag. All right, y'all. Until next time, let's enjoy. It's always good for you guys. Y'all, the therapy. Yeah, y'all always get me going. And correct me when I'm wrong. I love that. But we'll all see y'all on the other side after the draft, and we're gonna be handing out them grades. So if you on academic probation, we didn't tell you who got dropped. Somebody gonna get dropped, and we'll know who got that drop. That means you got to sit out a year. My sense is it might be one of Carl. Chicago hope they don't get dropped. I hope he don't drop polls. You know,
Yeah, he
he,
might get dropped, man.
he
He
might
might
get
get
dropped
dropped.
for a year. All right, we go stay tuned
And many years,
for the
man. Like I
grades.
said, we ain't feeling right now, man. I mean, we want Brother Pole to succeed, but we seen Claypool and Nate Davis, and we seen some bad picks, bro. Bad pickups.
So we come and stay tuned with our next show. We will be
We
giving out
praying for him though.
grades.
We praying for him. We
We
ain't we
praying
ain't
for them though. We
yes,
we
we
don't
praying
want
for him.
anybody to do poor. We are educated, but
We praying for him. Yeah, we want
you
everybody to
you,
succeed, but
as we
if
always
you make
say,
bad decisions, though, you make bad decisions.
yep,
That's the
yep,
problem.
yep, you put yourself in position. All we can do is help you once you're there.
Taking the wrong class, taking a whole bunch of STEM together, ain't doing it right. Yeah, you gonna get in trouble. Yeah,
You'll, you'll get in trouble. You got too many credits. You got too many
yeah,
credits. All right,
yeah.
y'all. Till next time. Peace.
Peace.
Ready for the day the Lord called on me. Them all decisions, man, they all on me. I came with this great from Hey, yo, Neil. Hey, what's up? I got you.